Welcome to Guitar Meditations. This is the first video in this series that I'm going to do. And I want to teach you some relaxing techniques for guitar and also just kind of talk a little bit about some philosophy. The thing I was thinking about today is I don't know who you are. I don't know how you found my channel or how you got turned on to this, but today I just want to tell you that you are not a random bit of cells that just has no meaning in life. You have a meaning and you have a purpose, and God created you for a purpose. I was reading in the book of Colossians in the Bible, and it said that everything was created for Christ and by Christ and through Him. And that means that you were made. And I ask people sometimes, how long did it take to make you? And they say, the sarcastic 15 or 20 minutes, right? And then some people will say, well, it took me 9 months, or it took 9 months to make me. And then other people will say, well, maybe they're more, philosophical about it, and they'll say, well, it took me, 20 years or 30 years or 40 or however old you are, and that's how long it took to make me. But I'd like you to consider the fact that, God took thousands of years to put this person with that person, and this person with that person, and this person with that one, and until He finally came up with you. He crafted you over a long, slow period of time. So you have purpose and meaning, and I just want you to think about that while we're learning today. Today we're in, I'm teaching like a kind of a relaxing sort of technique to how to learn to play the guitar. In fact, we're not even really learning how to play the guitar necessarily. We're just learning how to relax with a guitar. This is like music therapy in a way. And so we've tuned the guitar to the tuning D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. That's open D tuning, and it's an old slide blues tuning, that a lot of the old blues guys used to play, but it's also a really pretty meditative tuning. And so I'm going to teach you today what I'm calling the one finger approach to playing the guitar. And all you need is one finger, and so there, I'm going to show you a couple spots that you can play in this video, and I'm going to show you a couple techniques for this hand. Let's start with this hand real quick. I want to teach you what's called a triplet. And a triplet is where you have 3 notes. And what I'm doing is, I don't have a pick, I don't have anything, I'm just using my fingers so I can feel that guitar. You're getting that tactile sense of what it feels like. And I'm trying to access a lot of your brain here, and I'm trying to help you shut down parts of your brain. Maybe you've got an overactive, thought process. Maybe you are like me sometimes and you just constantly are thinking about things. This is one way that I kind of shut my brain down a little bit. And this triplet here, thumb, thumb, finger. Let's see if you can see it real good. Thumb, thumb, finger. Just on these 3 strings. And just kind of make that to where it's going over and over and over. And I find this is a very soothing thing, and I read about this. I got the idea from this from the prophet Isaiah in the book of Kings. He called for a harp, and he just plucked on the harp for a while, and all of a sudden he just started giving the king the prophecy that he needed. And so this kind of always appealed to me, that you could just sort of pluck on strings and just sort of, tune out and focus on God, or focus on, just relaxing and trying to breathe and calm down and not be so anxious. And if you want to, you can pick other strings. The nice thing about open D tuning is it's all a beautiful chord no matter what you play. And then when I'm ready, I just come back to that one small little triplet, and I'm ready to start. Now I want to show you something today that's just really, really simple, really easy to do, and all you have to do is play notes on the last string, and you're going to be on the 2nd fret and the 4th fret, okay? And that's all we're doing. And whenever you're ready to hear another note and you're tired of hearing the same notes, you just go ahead and play another fret. 2nd, maybe come up to the 4th fret. And then after a while, you just maybe go back. And try different combinations of those. And just remember to breathe. And it's kind of like listening to wind chimes. You just hear it. And it should just relax you and just kind of mellow you out. And that's it. There's not a lot to it. It's just a real calming kind of a technique. I'm going to do a bunch of these videos and show you some more ways to add to this. You can expand it, you can make it more complex, or it can be really simple and easy, but for right now, we'll just stick with the just that one finger approach. That's all it is. Now I'm going to review it real quick just to make sure you have it. You can strum just the last 3 strings, and if this is hard, just pick with your thumb. You can do it that way too, but keep that rhythm kind of smooth. And it's the 2nd fret, and I like to play right in the middle of the fret, you know, that's just kind of how I like to do it. And then the 4th fret, and if you want to slide up like that, you can. Gives it a neat little sound. And then if you're skilled with the guitar, you can do things like hammer-ons or pull-offs. But that requires more than just one finger. Unless you do that kind of a hammer-on. But that gets a neat sound too. So, I will see you next time with some more techniques that you can add to this and build it up and make an interesting way to just kind of calm yourself down and relax a little bit. Till then, you have a good day. I will see you next time, or you'll see me, or one way or the other. God bless you. Hey, my name is Willie Minnix. Welcome back to Guitar Meditations, and today I'm thinking about there's a part in the Bible that says don't be anxious for anything. Why? Because if you exercise faith, faith is the opposite of being anxious. You don't have to be anxious if you know that God's looking out for you and He cares for you and He's taking care of you. So that's kind of the thing I want you to think about today. Just think about how God cares about you. And I want to teach you a new technique. So last time we talked about this three-finger thing where you're picking, not three-finger, note, a triplet. And you can pick with just your thumb, or you could pick with your first finger. Doesn't really matter how you do it. Just make sure that rhythm is steady. I like to go thumb, thumb, finger, thumb, thumb, finger, thumb, thumb, finger. You can do it however you want. And then we talked about how you can play notes on the 2nd fret and the 4th fret on that first string. But I want to add that today. Now what I did is I added the 2nd string down, and be this one right here, and I added the 2nd fret on that string. That note right there. So now we got a new note that we can add, and as we just sort of play and listen to the music, you can just kind of create whatever you want. You have a lot of options. If you mess up, who cares? Just go on. Because there's really you're not doing this to play a song, you're just doing this to kind of relax. So you don't have to beat yourself up about it, you just keep playing. And just go on. And if you want to, you can add that note, that 2nd fret, and that's kind of a minory sound. It's almost like tension, and you can think, okay, there's the tension in my life. Take a breath, because it just resolved. So now we've talked about this as kind of a one-finger approach. You can do this whole thing with just one finger if you want, but sometimes I like to go and use my pinky. And if your pinky's not very strong, maybe you could use your ring finger. But it helps you to speed up a little bit so you can play the notes just a little bit faster when you go back and forth. And really, I'm not going that fast. It seems like it because you hear the sound element, but really, if I were to do it here, it's really not much more than just tapping your fingers, just drumming your fingers. You can do that too and get yourself kind of a neat little beat going on. But you can still play fast with just one finger if you get really good at it. And that makes me want to introduce, last time I talked a little bit about the idea of a hammer-on, where you hammer on to a note, or like that, you slam down on it. You can add that, but you can also do something called a pull-off, where you play the note, and then you drag your finger off the note, hopefully you can see this, to where it makes a sound. And by adding these pull-offs and hammer-ons, along with this three-finger thing that you're doing down here, which hopefully by now you've been practicing this a while and you're pretty good at it. And if you ever want to pick a string that you're not ready to strum, you know, in the 3-finger thing, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and pick it. You don't have to stay in the pattern. It's not like mandatory. You just change and you play what needs to be played at that time. But you're not really thinking about it much. You're just... And if you want to stop doing the 3-finger, 3-picking pattern down here, then go ahead and go out of it for a little bit. But when you're not sure what you should play next, then just go back to it. And you can change the speed if you want to. You don't have to always keep doing it the same. We're not concerned about rhythm. We're not playing a song. We're just relaxing. And don't forget to breathe. Just let all that anxiety out. That's it, just one finger. In 3 places on your guitar. 2nd fret on the top, 2nd to the highest string, 2nd fret on the highest string, and 4th fret on the highest string. Just 3 places in addition to your open tunings, and that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 relaxing notes that you can play over and over. And you may make mistakes. You don't have to worry about it. You just keep going. Because you're not playing a song. So you have a good day. And I will see you in the next video. Hey, my name is Minnix, and I am back again for more guitar relaxation techniques. And I was thinking about how the Bible says God is love, and it also says there's no condemnation in Christ. You know, you may be stressed out because bad things that you've done in your life, and you're like, oh, I've done so many horrible things, how could God love me? But He does, and if you come to Him, He'll forgive you. You know, He opens up His heart and just is there to forgive you when you ask for Him, and He wants to help you change. You know, you can't, change is not easy by yourself, but He helps us change, you know. So think about that today while you're relaxing and playing your guitar. And I want to teach another technique that I've thought about, and this is called vibrato. And there are a lot of different ways to do vibrato, and some of them are more difficult than others. I'm going to teach you a few of them, and you can kind of figure out what you want to do with it. But this first vibrato is one of the harder ones. It's B.B. King butterfly vibrato, and you just kind of crank your finger really fast, and you get that wiggly kind of a sound to the note. Now again, remember, we're in open D tuning, D, A, D, F sharp, A, D, and this note right here is the first note we learned. It's the second fret, last string, or the highest string, and we've got the fourth fret, highest string, and so far we've talked about using the second fret on the next string down to give us 5 notes to make a melody with. Well, if you want to decorate that melody, we talked about hammer-ons, and we've talked about pull-offs. Well, now you can try vibrato. Now, one way to do vibrato is this way. Eric Clapton kind of does vibrato where he'll put his finger on the fret and go up and down like that. And then some people will actually kind of crank the whole guitar, and then you can kind of just bend your finger back and forth too. It doesn't really matter how you want to do the vibrato. Just find one that kind of works for you, and that's another technique that you can incorporate into your playing. Hammer on, pull off. Hammer on, pull offs, vibrato. And if you make a mistake, it's not a big deal because we're not playing a song. We're just doodling. Doodling with, like we would do if we were just drawing on a piece of paper. We're just making some, music. It's like wind chimes, just dingling around, hanging up on the porch. You don't have to think about it. Just when you're ready to play a different note. And notice I'm not even doing the 3-finger thing anymore, the triplet. I'm just going back and forth, thumb, finger, down here. There's that tension note. And then we're going to release. And don't forget to breathe. Nice thing about vibrato is it lengthens the note so it can last a little bit of time. Hear how long that hangs on? So that's what vibrato is used for. It's one of those things that helps you keep that note going. If you have, say you want a whole note and it wants to last for 4 beats, well, vibrato will help it carry on over into those 4 beats. And you probably already know a lot of these techniques. If you have a guitar, I know you've probably fooled around with some of this stuff, but maybe you never put it together in quite the same way. make a mistake like I just did, doesn't matter, you just keep going. Because we're not playing a song, we're just relaxing and just letting it go and listening to the sound. And if we get better at playing the techniques, then good. But that's not our focus right now. And I bet if you're playing along, you probably noticed that just about anything that you play, even if I'm playing something different, it sounds good. And even if you make a mistake, again, remember, there's no condemnation in Christ, so you don't have to be beating up on yourself because you made a mistake. And if you can't play as fast as me, that's no big deal either. Just play what you can. Sometimes you may get crazy and want to add some more of that stuff in there, but we'll talk about that later in another video. And then maybe you want to go back to that triplet thing that we were doing earlier. See, I keep hitting the wrong note, but I just keep going. I don't care. Maybe I want some vibrato now. And I like that, I'll do it again. Maybe I'll do it down here. Get that tension note. And don't worry, if you can't play exactly the way I do, it's not that big of a deal. You just kind of do what you can do for now. You'll eventually get better. So that's vibrato, and that's just one more of those things that you can add when you play the guitar like this. It's not something you have to do all the time, but if it just pops into your head, hey, maybe I could do some vibrato here. Or if maybe you play something and it seems to die out too quickly, like maybe your guitar just isn't sustaining as long as you would like it to, then maybe that's a time when you might throw that vibrato in there. So if it sounds like that, or and it decays too quick, then maybe you could just add a little bit of that vibrato. Anyway, I hope that's something that helps you today. Just don't let everything beat you down. And I'll see you in the next video.